Welcome to the Manifestation Babe podcast. My name is Catherine Zinkina, and I'm a manifestation expert, master mindset coach, and multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you're looking to massively up-level your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and success, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is to help you see the infinite potential within yourself to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of mindset development to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me to provide you with the tools, the resources, the strategies, and teachings that you need to manifest a reality wilder than your wildest dreams. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today, and now let's begin. Hey there, gorgeous boss babe. If you've come to this podcast to get inspired today and walk away with actionable tips and tricks to apply to your daily life so that you can manifest whatever you want, then you are absolutely in the right place. Before I dive into today's episode, I wanted to share with you something both actionable and inspirational that has completely transformed the course of my business in the last year since my team and I have been implementing it. It has added at least $3 million worth of additional revenue into our business and is a game changer regardless of where you're currently at with your business. Whether you're a complete business newbie, a struggling entrepreneur, or even a burnt out CEO with a huge team, Business by Design is going to completely transform you from where you are today to a what I now call myself digital CEO boss babe. My good friend and mentor, James Wedmore, and I are doing something special for the Manifestation Babes who take charge of their businesses in 2019. Think not only having the most effective, proven, profitable, transformational strategies and tactics, but the mindset of the most successful entrepreneur in the world. If you want to create a business that is not only wildly profitable, but gives you the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, you will definitely want to get on the wait list for Business by Design right now. Literally pause this episode right now, head over to manifestyourbusinessbydesign.com. Again, manifestyourbusinessbydesign.com. Make sure you get your name down on the special MB only waitlist and get ready for something epic to come your way in July. Okay, got yourself on the wait list? You sure? Perfect. Let's head right into today's episode. Hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to the Manifestation Babe podcast. If you are ever curious about what successful people actually talk about in real life, then you have come to the right place. So I've been hanging out with a lot of 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs in the last couple months, hanging out with some really, really cool change makers who are unapologetic about their success and how they're using it to impact the world. And it was about 5 awesome, epic hangouts around the world. Well, actually around the United States, because I've only been to Chicago, New York, and obviously I live in LA in the last couple months. But it was around the 5th type of conversation that we were having in depth that I made this connection, or at least I've always known this, just wasn't conscious of it and haven't yet expressed it on my podcast, which is why I'm so excited about recording today's episode. So here is my obsession, okay? My obsession since I started Manifestation Babe is figuring out, because I'm an INTJ and I'm a scientist at heart, and I love to just dissect things and figure out how to solve problems. And one of the things that I've been dissecting and figuring out since I started this journey was really honing in and doing surgery on, in a sense, of what truly makes the difference between successful people, those people who just seem to have it all and they just seem to have all the luck in the world and all the success in the world, and the people who are great people, so worthy of success, so worthy of their desires, and yet no matter what, they just can't seem to catch a break. That's been my obsession. That's why I started Manifestation Babe. That's the journey that I committed myself on. I remember being on my grandma's couch when I first started building my business, when I first moved to Los Angeles. Actually moved back to Los Angeles because I'm an LA girl for sure. I wasn't born here, but I was raised here. And I remember reading all of these books and listening to all of these audiobooks and listening to all of these podcasts and looking on Instagram and following as many successful people who weren't just saying they're successful, but actually successful, and listening to how they, or reading how they talk about things, think about things, perceive the world, their perspectives, their beliefs. It became one of my biggest fascinations. And in my NLP class, my instructor always said this. This is like one of the rules of NLP, is that language does not just describe your reality, but it determines it. It actually determines your reality. And the conversations that you have with your friends, or the conversations you find yourself in, or the conversations that you start, will always clue you in on where you are focusing on. And I am obsessed with listening to other people's languages. I don't mean to do this always intentionally, but of course, when I'm sitting there silently, I will eavesdrop on other people's conversations completely out of curiosity, just like at a restaurant, at the airport, in line waiting for something, or even passing along on the street. And I'm always fascinated with, the types of lives and the level of happiness that people have, that people experience, and how it's so connected to their conversations. Because again, conversations are just an insight on what you choose to focus on. And so, of course, hanging out with 7 and 8 figure earners, it's not that that's the pinnacle of success, but that is one of the measurements, or one of the measurements that we use here on the physical material plane to measure some sort of level of success. Okay. So yeah, money isn't everything when it comes to success, but it is a pretty big piece, because we rely on money to survive here. We rely on money to make a difference. We rely on money to make some sort of an impact. It is the premise of business. It's the premise of the material physical plane. And so as I'm having conversations with these people, I finally made a connection that I wanted to share with you. I realized the difference between the conversations that we've been having and the difference between the conversations I bump into simply by eavesdropping, because I choose not to join in on those types of conversations, which is at restaurants, airports, other places I hang out outside of my home. And basically, you guys, you know that I love being at home. My office is at home. Even when I travel, I just love to travel with Brennan. I'm not a big group traveler, although that's really, really fun. I like to be by myself and keep to myself. And so I'm not always just joining in on people's conversations or meeting strangers every day. I'm just not that type of person. So here's a difference. When we are having conversations in the 7 and 8 figure groups, we are talking about ideas. We're really focusing on ideas. How to make the world a better place, how we can be more conscious, how we can do better, how we can be better. We're talking about how to let go of our BS stories. Like the stuff that you see us post online, we actually talk about in real life. And I'm talking strictly, of course, about the people who walk their talk. But if you can imagine, the type of motivational stuff that you see, the personal growth and personal development stuff that you see online or read in books, those are actual conversations. That's actually how we live and how we think and how we breathe and what we talk about. And so we're always talking about limiting beliefs and how to get rid of them. We're giving each other help and advice, and we're sharing solutions with each other. We're constantly brainstorming. We are celebrating success. We're talking about what we're grateful for. And I can't tell you, and there's absolutely a correlation between the two, how often we are constantly being like, wow, we're so blessed. We're so grateful for this. We're so grateful for that. Oh my God, look at this beautiful life that we've created. We're always coming from gratitude. And we're thinking about how to create more solutions for ourselves and for others. Now, versus the types of conversations that I hear happening around me are always focused on problems, complaining, how everything is going to shit, whose fault is what. It's like constantly like my boss and the government and the president and my education and my lack of education and my parents and my friends, and it's all because of them. And constant gossip about other people. Like Brennan and I, we always look at each other and we're like, people versus ideas. That's become one of the things that we look at each other and we say to each other, how it's so absolutely fascinating to us how certain people just can't help but talk about other people. And the difference here is that it's not that in the other groups, the successful inner circle groups, that we don't ever talk about people. We of course do, but we're talking about them in a different way. We're talking about who's killing what, who is amazing, and we're constantly lifting people up. I've never been in a conversation with people who I admire and people who I look up to and people who are successful where we're bashing someone else and complaining about life. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter how much success you have, you guys, you're always going to have something to complain about. Money doesn't change anything. It just gives you more options, more opportunities. It's a tool, and it's a tool that you get to use to have more fun, to make a bigger impact, to create more, to live more, to have more, to be more, to whatever you see fit when it comes to money. And with unsuccessful people, or I don't mean like they're unsuccessful, meaning like one is better than another, but I just want you to categorize it as like people who are living their dream reality versus people who are not living their dream reality. And the people who are not living their dream reality, their conversations is constantly like, she did what? She said what? He said what? He did what? They did what? And it's like constant he, she, he, she. I think every freaking sentence starts with he, she. And it's constantly rooted in lack, in fear, and lack of gratitude. And it's just so fascinating to me. Like, I can't get over it. It is so fascinating. And it's really about what they're choosing to focus on that's creating their reality. And it makes me so sad that the majority of people downplay what's going good in their life just so they can connect with other people. Because if you're the person who is talking about how amazing things are and how you're grateful for everything and blah, 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 like people are going to look down on you and people are going to feel uncomfortable, right? They're going to feel like your light is way too bright and you're dimming their light, even though that's not how reality works. And with successful people, it's so funny because we are not afraid to brag about what's going amazing. We are not afraid to talk about how successful we are. We are so unapologetic about it. And that makes a difference. And your language doesn't just describe your reality, it absolutely determines it. So to summarize, successful people, what they actually talk about is ideas and solutions. If it's not benefiting, it is out of the conversation. If it's creating a lack mentality or bringing our vibration down or taking our focus away from what truly matters in life, it's out of the conversation. It doesn't even enter. And even if it enters for a second, it immediately gets shifted into some sort of idea for a better world or solutions. And other conversations, the masses of people, the mass consciousness, what they choose to focus on is they choose to talk about problems and other people. So you have ideas and solutions versus problems and other people. And I have a question for you. Is it time to change the types of conversations that you are having with your inner circle? Is this giving you insight into how you can use your conversations, or at least your conversations are a reflection of what you're focusing on, and you can bring a new focus to your friendship circle, or the 5 people, as Jim Rohn says, that you choose to spend the most time with, you become like, right? So is it time to change conversations? Or maybe, just maybe, if that's not helping, if that ain't helping in your circle who influences you most, you guys, because we like to stick together. Part of our survival as human beings is that we connect with other people. We like to stick together. We want to belong. We want to feel connected. And so that is a natural part of being a human being, but please use it in your favor. Okay. Don't connect over misery, connect over gratitude, connect over success, connect over vision, connect over positivity. That kind of connection is going to move the needle forward. Maybe it's time to find a new inner circle where you guys are actually focusing on shit that moves the needle forward, or maybe it's just time to change the subject. And honestly, I got really good at that. When I learned this concept, even though I've never really like voiced this connection on my podcast yet, when I made this connection, learning it from other mentors and teachers and books that I've read, I became a professional at changing conversations, changing the topic of conversation. When it came to my work and my coworkers and my friends, I would get so creative. I would be so solution oriented because I knew that like there is no excuse but for me to live my dream life. Like I'm way too blessed to not live my dream life. I have all the resourcefulness in my heart that I could ever need and all the resources out there somewhere in the world that I could ever need to create whatever it is that I want. So I have no excuse but to live my dream life. And if what I choose to focus on manifests in my reality, then I better get damn creative at changing my conversations, changing what I'm focusing on, and surrounding myself with the right people. And so when it came to my family, you know, those family gatherings where like your family just starts to focus on all the things like, what are you doing for a living now? You know, why aren't you in college? Why aren't you in medical school? Blah, blah, blah. You're doing what? Building an online business. What? No one makes money on the internet, and all those conversations that I'm used to, obviously coming from my family back in the day. And maybe it's your coworkers constantly focusing on how you're aging and you're getting old and you're getting sick and everything sucks and the boss is mean and the company sucks. And oh my goodness, I remember those conversations too from the short time that I lived working a 9-to-5 job in corporate or semi-corporate. I don't know what defines a corporate job, but I did work a 9-to-5 at an office. So it's so fascinating. And you really need to get good at changing the topic, or you need new friends. And again, because this is a manifestation, right? What you choose to focus on manifests into your reality. It expands. Your RAS, the reticular activating system of your brain, kicks in and starts filtering your reality to delete, distort, and generalize whatever doesn't fit your model of the world. And so if gratitude and if success and if money and if impact and if all the good things in the world that you could possibly want to manifest don't fit your model of the world or don't fit what's possible for you or aren't in your focus, and you will literally delete, distort, and generalize everything around you to avoid success. So this is so important. I know I said all of that really fast, so please rewind and re-listen again because it is so important. So I'm curious to hear from you. If this podcast episode resonated with you, take a screenshot, tag me on Instagram in your Insta stories, and let me know what you learned, or let me know your answers to my questions that I asked you. And let me know, like, are you spending more time around people who talk about solutions and talk about ideas, or are you really spending time around people who just gossip and focus on problems and complain and talk about other people? Super curious to know. And again, if you haven't yet gotten the hypnosis manifestation or the manifestation hypnosis that I'm giving away just simply for leaving a review on this podcast, it's my free gift as a thank you for you for being a loyal listener, a loyal subscriber, and leaving a review to help us reach more people. When you do that, when you take a screenshot, send it to my team, hello@manifestationbabe.com, and we will get you that free manifestation hypnosis. And I use hypnosis so much in my life to help me reprogram my mind to attract anything and everything I could possibly want. All of my goals and all of my desires, I have integrated into my subconscious. And one of my tools that I use for that is hypnosis. And I'm giving it to you for free. This thing is probably worth $100 or $200 because I honestly think that it's that freaking effective. And it's only a 10-minute recording. So make sure you get that. Tag me on the Instagrams. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you enjoyed. And I cannot wait to catch you in the next episode. Please have an amazing freaking day. Mwah. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration on Instagram by following @ManifestationBabe or visiting my website at manifestationbabe.com. I love and adore you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and manifest some magic.